My partner left me, so I told everyone he doesn't have cancer. My partner told me when we first got together that he has cancer, and if his operation doesn't go well, it could be terminal. He said his treatments have also made him infertile, so imagine our shock and joy when we found out I was expecting at the start of 2024. We now have a beautiful 5-month-old daughter who is perfectly healthy and thriving, and he is in remission. My pregnancy was difficult and lonely because of all the intense treatments he went through while waiting for his operation. I did a lot on my own knowing he desperately needed this to have the best chance possible of shrinking his tumor before having it removed so we can have a long, happy life together as a family. He is currently living with his mom while he is in recovery so that it takes the pressure off me caring for both him and our baby until he is well enough to move into our new home with us. He still comes to our house, and we go to his mom's all the time so our baby isn't missing him, and on Wednesdays he has his daddy-daughter days where it is just the two of them to make sure they are bonding well, and he has the practice until he is well enough to care for her at home full-time, and give me a little break too. Last week we had an attempted break-in at the house. Editor's note: OOP posted about that a few days ago, but it was deleted. I asked him to come over and stay here while I'm waiting for the locks to be changed because I'm scared, but he wouldn't. I was talking to his mom too, who slipped up telling me he wasn't home. Long story short, this is Reddit. I'm sure you can see where this is going. We argued for over 24 hours before my suspicions became too much, and I went to Facebook. It took me less than an hour to find the first two women. During my pregnancy, I was suspicious of a lot of things, and put it all down to my hormones as he would continuously tell me that I am paranoid and hurting him when I ask. One thing my paranoia just wouldn't let up about was his cancer and his treatments. I asked his mom about it, who told me he doesn't have cancer, but he is having treatments. He has an autoimmune disease which he receives transfusions for. Very serious, but nowhere near terminal and no operations required. She also informed me he was in rehab, not hospital. He was addicted to cocaine and was trying to recover from me and our baby. I never mentioned to him that I knew. I assumed it was the embarrassment of wanting to get clean without me knowing so he could be a good partner and dad. I was so proud of him for getting that help that I never spoke about it. With his autoimmune disease, his mom explained how brutal this has been for him, and that he did have chemo a few years back, so maybe that's why he's confused. Pregnancy brain is a real thing, or maybe I'm just too blindly in love because I accepted this and never questioned it again. After discovering the first two women, I sent my partner a message telling him to let his girlfriend know I'm asking after her, and not to bother coming home anymore. I've had the locks changed from the break-in so he can't get in. He panicked and started begging me to answer the phone and let him come see me, so he could explain everything. I started to see everything through clear eyes for the first time and realized how long he had been gaslighting me for, and told him no. Realizing he couldn't get through to me and now aware I was trying to contact his girlfriend, he panicked and went to her instead. During that time, I found a photo she had shared of the two of them and shared it to my profile with the caption, "Can someone please ask this woman to contact me?" She instantly blocked me, but her sister got in touch with me instead. Apparently the family have never trusted him and knew something was wrong. This affair is serious enough to have met the family. She says he has told her not to speak to me as I'm a deranged stalker he slept with once years ago and have been hunting him down trying to convince people my baby is his. I sent her a photo of the birth certificate and us in hospital together to show her sister before he can lie to her anymore. During this, I am also messaging another woman who is furious at what he has done and is helping me with all the information she is aware of. She tells me he broke her heart by cheating on her without even knowing he was cheating on me too. So far I have the current timeline. Chemo in March. A 19-year-old. Rehab in April, July. A woman of an appropriate age this time, but also cheating on her. August. Now, his 20-year-old girlfriend. I then find out his emergency cancer medication that he had to leave for in the middle of labor was actually the fact my two failed epidurals. Screaming in agony begging the doctors to help because I thought I was dying while the emergency team rushed in to place extra monitors on our baby in distress was actually just a huge turn-on for him. So he needed to go sleep with a 20-year-old before making it back, just in time to kiss me before I went into emergency surgery. This was Sunday. It is now Saturday the following week. I made a post on Facebook calling out my partner for his actions, with photographs, medical notes, and evidence, and asking people to leave me alone on Tuesday after 48 hours of no sleep, multiple calls to the crisis team, and a barrage of harassment from his friends and family who want to sue me for character defamation. If this was a regular affair, I'd lick my wounds and move on, but I have now learned I have been leaving my daughter alone with a drug addict who is claiming he doesn't know me or his daughter to others, but demanding custody rights to me. Tens of women have now come forward who have also dated him during our relationship with no idea of me or each other. This is obviously really upsetting, but what upsets me the most is that I begin to notice a very worrying pattern. He has told every single one of these women that he has cancer and can't get them pregnant. I said my labor and delivery was difficult. I was induced due to an infection I had. My GP had told me I had an STI, and although I understood and took the treatment and was induced, my madly in love pregnancy brain never accepted it as an STI until I went back this week and checked my hospital discharge notes, and it was there in big bold letters. Sensitive, partner STI. He has been telling women that he has cancer and can't get them pregnant, so they don't need protection, which led to an STI, which almost killed me and his daughter in labor, and he wasn't even there to be with us because he was sleeping with a young girl who also believes he has cancer. I decided to let everyone know that he in fact does not have cancer by using a screenshot of his MAMS messages. All the women he has slept with to make sure they take a pregnancy and STI test. All his friends who he has been guilting for years over his condition, and also social services, and the police for sexual endangerment. Me and my daughter now have safeguarding in place for us from a local organization for women leaving abusive relationships, so I feel very safe to reveal the truth about him and make sure all of his partners are safe and informed seen as he couldn't uphold his legal obligation of declaring an STI. I guess his postpartum girlfriend will do it for him. I have also had contact from many of his old friends, band members and ex-partners who have all gave me testimonies to use for the police and as backup for if his mother does in fact try to sue me. This man has been lying and manipulating women for over 9 years. So far, everyone is now aware of his lies, and I am waiting for my in-person meeting with the police. I can't imagine any updates from here as it will only be a legal battle that probably can't be shared, but if anything else of interest comes to, I will make sure to write about it. Oh, also, my partner is a primary school teacher. Some of OOP's comments. To a removed comment. It's come to light this week that his ex-partners have been reporting him for years to no avail. His ma'am is on the school board and her best friend is his head teacher. I'm hoping with the added element of social services this time and an investigation into child endangerment for our daughter, they can't sweep it under the carpet any longer. Escalating the situation. We're in the UK. His complaints have been escalated to LADO in the past, which is basically our version of what controls the school's judgment over any dangerous situations, but nothing happened. One of his exes have gave me all the details of their report to push that they ignored her, and it's escalated to this. Commenter. Feel like we need a full name and link to his Facebook, or at very least to make sure he is up on PrickAdvisor. OOP. He deleted his Facebook after I made a post on there. He is the most convincing person you have ever met, but for the first time, someone proved him wrong by posting medical evidence, and he couldn't take it. I'm waiting on approval to join PrickAdvisor UK, and are we dating the man same Northeast? To warn all the other women, I couldn't find myself. Commenter. What STI did he pass to you? Has your baby been tested and or treated? OOP. At the time I refused further testing in denial and regret it so much. I was just given a course of antibiotics, and because my symptoms went, they left it at that for me. All I know is from the STI being untreated for so long, I ended up with strep group B2, which is why I needed to be induced. So, I was on an antibiotic drip when my waters were broken so my baby would be safe. She's perfectly healthy and faced no issues luckily. I think I've been lucky, and whatever is was must not have turned to an STD because my medical documents only say partner STI. We also haven't slept together for a very long time now after my surgery, so I know I'm at least safe now. Commenter. How does he manage his time? Like, is his superpower time management? A full-time job which requires extra hour work, a baby, a GF, a mother, many lovers? OOP. He would disappear from time to time and switch his phone off a lot. Not living together was a huge help for him. He would tell me he needed set days and time etc., as he can only work in routines for his recovery. Obviously, I can look back now and see that really. He just needed to know which girl was where and when. I've been told by multiple people now that he will often just don't turn up to work because he's on a bender or at a woman's house, and I was kept in the dark because his mam's best friend is the head teacher and would cover for him. Commenter. He's a serial adulterer, he spreads STIs, he lies about having cancer, he's a primary school teacher, and he's in a band? OOP. Was in a band. I've just found out this week that he wasn't kicked out in 2019 for having cancer like he'd told me, but kicked out in 2018 when his abusive behavior towards women was exposed, and they cut all ties with him, except one band member who didn't believe it and never mentioned anything about it to me or gave me the heads up. Commenter. Is your BF my ex? Cause my ex was also a drug addict who faked cancer and other health problems while abusing me physically, mentally, and sexually. OOP. If he lives in the UK and used to be in a feminist punk band, then there's a good chance. I'm so sorry for your experience and hope you've healed X. Commenter. The Daily Mail would be all over this. OOP, they would. I've shown my social worker what I've shared online so far, and as no one has been named or can be identified on here, that's okay, and I've been extremely polite about the situation and only exposed myself on Facebook, so they're okay with me sharing that. But for the sake of not giving him any more ammo or information to use in his defense, I need to be careful until the investigations are over. I wouldn't want to mess up my case and have him teaching for another 6 years like the last time he was reported. Commenter. Make it public. Make sure parents know and that the head of the school board has been protecting him. OOP. Sadly, I think parents are aware and not receiving help from the school in the situation. One woman he dated during the summer, and she realized who he was when she went to drop her child off at school in September. She's been updating me to let me know that he wasn't seen in school for multiple days after my health visitors and social worker began the reports on Monday, but he was back in half a day Friday. Update. I've spoken to the police this morning. There is nothing they can do unless they find the drugs on his person in the school, so nothing is stopping him snorting a line before he starts work as long as he takes nothing else with him. They've implied the loophole is that they catch him behind the wheel, and if some reported him driving on drugs, they could catch him that way. They said they can confirm that multiple reports and investigations have begun before even my report, so they are unable to share much information with me. Even thought he case involves me, but they told me it is imperative I apply for Claire's Law and have helped me with the application. It can take up to 10 days for my in-person meeting to provide my documents, and then it can take several weeks for the information to be shared with me. Knowing what I do already, I feel sick that they have told me how important it is for me to make this application. I can't believe in a few weeks he's going to disgust me even further when I receive his police records. My only silver lining is that once I have the police reports, on top of my medical reports, he doesn't stand a chance in family court, and me and my girl will be free to restart our lives together, Sparkling Heart. Also, another little note. I've been looking for family court advice in a MAM support group and have been informed that luckily she's only 5 months old, and any name changes can be made before 6 months with only one parent's consent, and the witnesses don't need to be his choice, so I will be removing his surname and his grand's name from her middle name, for her to take my surname and not have any more ties to his family. I just wanted to put an apology in here, as well as a lot of people have commented on my poor writing. I am a new ma'am who was lacking sleep even before any of this came to light. Everything I've wrote has basically been just a big vent from me. I know I'm no novelist, but I still apologize if it's been difficult to read. Some of OOP's comments. Commenter. You should also look into the Offenses Against the Person Act 1861. If he knew he had an STI and spread it to you and others by telling you all not to use any kind of protection, that may be illegal. OOP. My health visitor made the exact same point. She said would look into it for me and make the report on my behalf, as she has a legal obligation to report everything I said anyway. My worry is when speaking to the police today, they said without physical evidence they can't really do much, and even if multiple women come forward with the exact same claim, it's still hearsay and can't be pursued. I've checked all my past messages and can't find anything in writing from him that can be used. Commenter. I get a lawyer fast. I think there's a law against sharing private messages now, but I think you should be fine since the other women are consenting to their messages being used as evidence. That might be a loophole. Also, there's a Facebook group of women who post guys and their crime, so people know not to date these individuals, and since it's a closed group that they are careful who they let in there, he won't be able to get in cause they're really good at sniffing out a nosy dude and kicking them. So you might want to add that in there so others don't fall for his tricks. Also, I have to thank you cause I never realized how much someone saying ma'am instead of mom would annoy me. Now I can mark it down on my list of things I overreact to. I'm glad I caught it in text format before I met someone in real life who did this, and just was perpetually annoyed with them without knowing why I was annoyed. LOL. OOP. Thank you for your concern and advice. I've shown my support worker what I've shared, and she said everything is above board. He's also already been named and shamed in a couple of groups by someone he was speaking to on a dating app after finding out about me. I have only shown my own information. I would never expose another woman, and no one has been named but me and my partner. In all honesty, the post was more to prove that we had been in a relationship and had a child more than anything, as he was getting his friends and family to harass me saying he didn't know me and gaslit me so much I started to doubt the past year and a half myself. I only said what he had done to me and just mentioned that I was aware now that he had affairs. I've gone in much more detail here about things with the safety of being anonymous. I shared photos of us together, text messages of our boring lives, love you more, we need nappies, etc., and my medical records showing the STI. In the UK, it's only illegal to show other people's messages without consent, and the only ones I have are saved to be used in court, with the women who have sent me them's consent, if it comes to it. As I am the one who had sent the messages I've shared, and there is no defamation, My social worker thinks I'll be okay. Also sorry. LOL. In my part of the UK, ma'am or mammy is most commonly used, and then mum or mummy. We never use mom. It's funny how different parts of the world speak the same language, but use completely different words. Commenter. OMG, op, you are a queen. I'm so proud of your fierce determination to protect your baby, yourself, and other potential victims. All this, and you're a new mama. Lordy, you're a strong woman. Hope that guy's prick falls off, bloody AH. OOP. I don't know why this was the comment that finally opened the floodgates for me, but thank you. I think they're happy tears. I've spent the last few months building up our rundown little council house. I managed to get us to make it into our dream home, all while caring for our little girl and giving more love and support to him and his family than I've ever gave myself. She falls asleep at 12/1 a.m., and I work through the night decorating and building furniture. I keep forgetting that I've just given birth. I haven't even recovered myself. He made me into a mouse of a person and so dependent on him that I haven't felt strong at all. I think now I can see through clear eyes and realize how many women I've managed to help so far and the work I'm putting into to protect the children as his school. I do feel more proud of myself and hope one day my baby girl will be proud of me too. This is all fake, and I 100% understand why someone would think and say that. I completely admit I used a clickbait title. I've never wrote a post before, only read others, so just copied what I've seen online for the title hook. I wish the rest was fabricated, but sadly, it's actually very condensed to focus on his lies about cancer. I haven't even touched on details of the argument around the attempted break in which lead to this, why or how I found the other women on Facebook, or the argument with his new girlfriend and ma'am, which lead to me discovering the extent she has been covering for him. I don't even dare go into further details for people not believing the absolute shit show of the past week. I didn't even believe it myself. Update 2 in comments. I have managed to provide enough evidence of drug use and emotional blackmail to the police to have a domestic abuse case opened. This is going straight past the school to the highest authority to keep him away from children. This is huge news and gives me such a relief in knowing my child and others will be safe, but I still have that awful feeling of guilt for him. Just 2 weeks ago, we called each other bride and groom. I think it's going to take a while to grieve the person I thought I knew while dealing with the one I know now. I hope this is the point he actually goes to rehab instead of lying about it, and can find happiness and restart his life. I don't think I want to make any more updates now. I am unbelievably grateful for the kind words and advice, but I originally just wrote this to get my emotions out of my head to help me sleep better. I know I used a clickbaity title, but I did not expect my post to blow up like this. Thank you all for helping and making my emotions feel validated in an absolutely insane situation. Me and my little girl are going to be okay, Sparkling Heart.